man, first of all, our guy, D'Anthony Bell.
Woo. Man, what a game.
This dude's going to make the team. And then we got people tweeting us about him, which made me giddy. Like, people know that we're hyping this guy up.
Yeah.
Man, he played so well.
Yes.
And he was out there early.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't get to go in the last 8 minutes of the fourth quarter. He was in there early.
He looked
First
real
quarter,
good.
second quarter.
And that hit in the backfield was
when
nasty.
he blew that running back up.
I mean, his
Punching the
nickname,
football.
Yeah.
He punched the football out. That's high football IQ right there.
Yeah, his nickname's the Hitman, which, I mean, I just wanted to see that translate to the field.
Oh, you got
for
to
the Browns, and
immediately, bro. Immediately.
And, I mean, he was playing against some Jaguars, starters.
Yep.
And he played well. I think he's 100% making the team. At least, unless something crazy happens, knock on wood, injury, hope nothing crazy happens.
Right.
But, I mean, they obviously have high hopes for him. They had him out that early against starters, and then he came out and performed. And I think we originally thought if he makes a team, it's going to only be special teams. I think this dude might make the team and get to play safety.
Yeah.
I could see him in the rotation. For
Yeah.
sure. He's got energy. Like, he brings a good dog mentality, energy to the field. It's just, you can feel it when he's out there.
And Ronnie Harrison, I like the guy, but he gets hurt all the time.
Yes, he does.
So if he's the 4, he's going to get to play because Ronnie Harrison's most likely going to get hurt at some point.
And among starters, I think he's only going to look better.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a good support around him.
Yep.
So that was extremely exciting. I was pumped to see that.
Browns fans, we just want to take a quick break in the action to remind you about DraftKings. DraftKings changed the fantasy game forever in 2012. Now, 10 years later, they're doing it again with Rainmakers Football, their first ever NFT fantasy game. A new way to enjoy daily fantasy football. A new shot to win millions in prizes, and the only NFT fantasy game licensed by the NFLPA. Playing Rainmakers Football is simple. Buy, sell, bid, and win player cards of the biggest names in the game through regular drops and auctions. Build your collection of football stars and enter free Rainmaker Football contests all season long to compete for millions in jaw-dropping prizes. Each week, craft your lineups of athletes from your NFT collection and rack up points for touchdowns, receptions, and more, just like you would in daily fantasy football. The next generation of fantasy sports is almost here. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now. Sign up with promo code TPPN. Click the Rainmakers title and opt in so you can be ready for the next drop. Play free for millions in prizes all football season and build the ultimate NFT fantasy franchise with Rainmakers Football. That's promo code TPPN only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
And then Isaiah Thomas played well. Martin Emerson with the awesome interception. I mean, that play.
Filthy. He straight stole that kid's lunch money.
He took it from Marvin Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvin Jones is a good veteran receiver in the NFL, and he just went up and just took his lunch money.
Yep. Ball hawked him.
And you didn't just take it, but then he took it to the house.
Yes.
Yeah. Looked like an athlete.
Change the momentum kind of. I know it's preseason, but change the momentum of the entire half. Because say what you want. I felt like we got outplayed. I mean, honestly.
Yes.
They were going to go in at halftime leading easily.
And from that point on, we pretty much stomped them.
Yeah.
They did nothing from that point on.
They had to bring in old CJ beat hard. He didn't want that life. All that happened was he got beat hard the rest of the game. That's exactly what happened.
Nice.
Yeah, the Emerson pick was awesome, and I like that pun. And then lastly, I think you got to talk about Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That he looked explosive. He looked the part. I know we were excited about that. So I got to pump the brakes on some people. Some people were saying, well, hey, just trade Kareem now. It was one preseason game. Let's wait and see a little bit. The Jaguars aren't exactly, the top of the AFC.
They're the bottom.
Yeah. But it's something to look at too, especially with the problems at wide receiver. What if he looks this good all preseason? And obviously he's been doing it in training camp because that's all we heard about is how well he's looked in training camp. I don't want to get rid of Kareem Hunt. Trust me. And I'm not saying this guy is as good as Kareem Hunt, but can he do some of the things that Kareem Hunt brings to the offense? We give Kareem the trade he wants, do right by him, and be able to bring in some wide receiver help. I'm not pulling the trigger just yet. I got to see him do it more than one time against second and third stringers, but I think it's something to look at.
I think if you can get anything contributing wide receiver help, I think we got to start looking at that.
To just trade Kareem.
I just don't think they do.
I think if there's a potential to get help for that receiving room, because, man, it is not good right now.
I know it sucks, but we touched on it a little bit. We had no Cooper, no no DPJ. So, I mean,
No, DPJ played.
I didn't think he did play.
Yeah, he started.
Did he?
The two starting receivers were DPJ and Schwartz.
Well, that's my fault.
Watson didn't target him.
Yeah, well, even then, I'm still okay with, I'm okay with it. We need another piece. I think we need to bring in a veteran free agent. I don't know if we can trade for somebody, but, I mean, that'd be, I guess, something to look at. I'd love to have Kareem, though, for one last year.
I agree.
I would too. Don't hear what I'm not saying.
No, I know you. I hear you.
And please do not come at me and say that I think Ford is better than Kareem Hunt. I am not saying that. I'm just saying if he can give us some of the things Kareem Hunt gives us, and he can do it well and he can do it consistently, can we leverage the asset that is Kareem Hunt into getting help for the wide receiver room? The problem is, to get a wide receiver worth anything, is a team going to take a running back? I guess it depends on how highly they value Kareem Hunt.
Or how bad they are at running back.
And the thing is, another team's third or fourth wide receiver on their depth chart might be our second at some
That's true,
point.
like the Cowboys.
Right.
Although the Cowboys are so banged up right now, they're playing nobodies. But, I mean, Jacksonville.
Yeah, they've got a whole slew of wide receivers over there. They signed everybody this offseason.
I don't think they need Kareem. ETN looked pretty good.
Yeah.
So, and Trevor Lawrence looked pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
So, maybe Doug Peterson will be good for him. For some reason, Urban Meyer wasn't cutting it. He was only putting in half days at the office, other half days
for some reason.
Columbus bars. I think another guy we should talk about, obviously, so Josh Dobbs came in and lit it up. 10 of 13, 108 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, a 126.4 rating. And this is for a guy who hasn't played much football.
No.
And I don't think he played at all last year. Somebody said he took a year away from football or something like that.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I don't know if he took a year away or if he just didn't get on the field ever. But either way, he hasn't got to play much football in the NFL. And, man, he looked freaking good. He looked athletic. He was on time, on target. That play to Ford, the touchdown pass, where he threatened the line of scrimmage and made the guy commit to him and just kind of
floated up right
over him. It was a great catch by Ford, too.
Yes.
Man, that was impressive. And then I put, with Watson's going to be out at least 6 games. Probably more now because of Roger. But so then that leaves Brissett to start, and the talk has been, do we bring in somebody else to back up Brissett because the guys behind him are so unproven? But does that performance make you feel more comfortable that we can roll with him as the backup?
There's really nobody in free agency worth bringing in.
That's fair.
So I think so. He looked fine.
He looks like a good backup to me, but I mean, from what I saw, not a huge sample size, but he played a lot, so I think he looked good. He looked very efficient. That's
the thing, too. Like, if we're talking about him having to play, more things have went wrong. You know what I mean? Like, Jacoby is out, so or injured or banged up. So, like, it would just be another thing. Well, hey, can the Browns with this roster get by for a couple of games with Dobbs at quarterback instead of – I don't think we should mortgage the future for 1 year. You know what I mean? As far as trade a ton of assets. I keep hearing Jimmy G's, they're just going to end up cutting him because everybody knows that they're going to be on the hook for $26 million. So they're like, well, we're good. We're just going to sit and wait and let him decide where he wants to go play.
Call me crazy. I'm hopping more and more on like the Minshew train.
I threw it out there, bro. I threw it out there for you a few weeks ago.
Yep, and I bet hard, and I'm not letting go. I'd rather go get Minshew for way cheaper than go get Jimmy G.
As far as to play over Brissett or to back him up?
I don't know. Make him compete.
The thing is, I would like to see Brissett in a preseason game here, just for a few series, because
I think Stefanski said he'll play in preseason game 3.
Jacoby Brissett is a good quarterback. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's not the guy you want leading your team all season if you don't have to, but he's a good quarterback.
He's a very serviceable backup.
Yeah.
And he's never played on a roster like this.
Exactly.
That's my my argument for Minshew is neither is he.
That's true.
So
and Minshew has played well in the NFL. Like, he's put together some solid performances.
And I just want some Minshew magic in Cleveland. We need something. Think about it. We got all these problems, all this drama, and then say Watson gets a season, we bring in our boy Minshew for a year of magic.
And that mustache.
You know what I mean? Right. And the short jorts and the aviators. Let's make it happen. I think Josh Rosen looked good.
You're 6 of 7, man.
Yeah, 6 of 7, 56 yards, 100 rating. We saw him up at camp, and I said, I was like, guys, I think Josh Rosen throws kind of a good ball.
He does throw a good ball. Yeah, I mean, like we said, he's a first-round talent, so he's got good arm talent. He does.
The biggest problem with Rosen has always been between the ears and opportunity.
Yep.
And I think the Browns are giving him a good opportunity. I mean, he looked good enough, and he's going to get to play more and more in this preseason, I would imagine, to the point where even if he doesn't make the Browns, he'll probably end up getting picked up by somebody else again. Like, he's not going to be out of the league after this.
No, he'll be on somebody's depth chart.
Yeah. So I thought he looked good. So that was encouraging. Let me see what else we got here.
Can I do something real quick?
Go ahead.
Let's just give a round of applause for no missed kicks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got to touch on Cade York.
That's right.
That was nice to see.
How about the kickoff where he kicked it through the uprights, bro?
Yeah, was that after the return, the interception return?
I don't.
Because the announcer made a comment like, even Cade York's hyped up right now.
Yeah,
and he didn't do kickoffs in college, really.
Yeah, he had a couple that were a little short, like on the kickoffs. But I mean,
sometimes I wonder if they do that on purpose, like they kick it to like the 1 or just shallow because they're trying to pin him inside the 25. Mm-hmm. I'd rather just kick it out of the back of the end zone.
Yeah, what's 5 more yards and no chance of a return?
Or an injury.
Yeah, or an injury. Correct.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just kick it out of the end zone. But that was great. A lot of good things happened for the Browns once the first unit went out. Which it's sad to say.
Now, what do you guys think about the penalties?
There was a lot, wasn't there?
Yeah, 11.
Which is, if you remember right, last year at the beginning of the year we had a lot, and then as the year went on, it started to get more buttoned up again. You're probably going to have a decent amount of penalties.
Jacksonville had 4. That's what I hated, was 11-4.
I know.
But you're right; they did already have a game too.
Yes, and I know at least one of those penalties, like I said, was an Alex Wright roughing the passer, and it was awful. But that's too many penalties. Mm-hmm. You're going to lose games more often than not. Especially come regular season when you don't get to – the Browns have great depth. So we're probably going to win a decent amount of preseason games because our second, third, and fourth stringers are going to be better than most teams' second, third, and fourth stringers.
Right.
But you get into a regular season game where it's ones-on-ones, you can't have 11 penalties.
That's fair.
you're probably going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have 11 penalties and a turnover and expect to win the game.
And a backup quarterback.
So they got to get that figured out. It's just we'll see what happens.
Hey, Browns fans, you've heard us talking about Omaha Steaks for a while now, and they are seriously the best steaks that we have ever had. Summer is here, and no backyard grill out is complete without Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Dawgs, DAWGS, into the search bar. You're going to get a special price on the All-American assortment, and as a tasty bonus, you've been hearing us talk about the 8 free ultra juicy Omaha steak burgers that you get when you place your order. Well, now they're changing the deal, and you now get 12 of those babies. So you get 12 free Omaha steak burgers with your order when you go to omahasteaks.com, enter Dawgs into the search bar, order the All-American assortment. You get 16 mouth-watering entrees, 4 famously fork tender, double-trim, butcher's cut filet mignons, 4 pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts. Is anybody else here getting hungry? Plus, so much more. There's a reason why Omaha Steaks has been the leader of gourmet steaks since 1917. No one, and I mean no one, comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and the value of Omaha Steaks. So go now, order the All-American assortment, fill your freezer with enough gourmet food to keep your cookouts going strong all summer long. And don't forget, for a limited time, our listeners get 12 free Omaha Steak burgers when they order the All-American assortment. So hurry up, visit omahasteaks.com, type in keyword Dawgs, DAWGS, into the search bar. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword Dawgs.
I think the biggest takeaway out of this game is play number 2. Nick Harris goes down, done for the season. First of all, that sucks.
Yep.
Sucks very bad.
Not just it sucks for the Browns in general, but all you've heard all offseason is how much work Nick Harris has been putting in. They let J.C. Treader walk, or they cut him.
They told him to walk.
Yeah, they gave him his papers.
Yep.
And because they had faith in this kid, if you watch Building the Browns, he's eating like thousands of calories a day to get his weight up. He's put on 15, 20 pounds of muscle and bulk. He's played really well. And then the second play of the preseason, he goes down for the year. So I feel terrible for Nick Harris. This was a great opportunity for him to get to play on one of the best offensive lines in football. My initial thoughts was J.C. Treader should be signed at halftime. But, I guess there's a lot of talk that they like this Ethan Posick.
Yeah.
Posick guy. He started, 47 games out of 55 or something
For
crazy.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the guy can play. Now, Seattle's offensive line is always kind of garbage.
Yep.
But he started 40-plus games in the NFL. So, he's got starting experience. And I guess the front office and I guess Stefanski really like him.
Yep.
So, from now, I'm hearing they're just going to roll with him.
Hey, we didn't really know who Wyatt Teller was.
I was thinking that on the way over. The last time we had a question mark on the offensive line and we were wondering if a guy could fill it, it turned out to be Wyatt Teller.
Yep.
So if we can,
buddy.
Yeah, if that can happen,
my dog.
Is he coming over for dinner yet?
Well, I don't think so. But, they haven't invited me either yet, so we're at a standstill.
Playing chicken.
That's right.
So if he can turn into a Wyatt Teller, man, that'd be pretty awesome. But even though they love him, do you kind of wish we'd call Treader?
Kind of. Yeah. The thing with Treader, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah, he's going to play every game.
And he's going to be solid and do a good job. He's a leader.
I don't he's been out there for a while, so I don't think he made $9.1 million last year, which we have that available.
Yeah,
easy.
And nobody's giving it to him.
Oh.
So why we wouldn't have to give him what he was making.
Unless he's also one of those guys waiting for preseason to kind of roll along. And,
yeah, well, we're there.
Who
we
was
might be
it?
There.
Joel
Yeah.
Bitonio thinks it's because of his role as the NFLPA Players Union president and his stance on some things with the league. So he thinks some teams are shying away. He's being blackballed. So I don't know. I just you know what you're getting. He knows the verbiage. He knows the offense. He knows the system. He knows the guys. There'd be continuity. I don't know. If you can get him for $5 million for a year or something, why wouldn't you?
You're putting back together the best offensive line in the league.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 years ago and last year was a little rough, but
So
didn't have the quarterback play either.
I'd go get him. I don't know. I guess we'll see game 2 with this Ethan Posick. So going into the Eagles, I guess, what do you guys want to see? I didn't really say we were going to talk about this. It's kind of spur of the moment. But what do you want to see out of the Browns? Because I don't think we're doing an episode before then, are we?
No, we won't be. I mean, just based on the last thing I just said, I would like to see the penalties go down.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
So I need to see the penalties get cleaned up. I want to see us get out healthy.
Yes.
I want to we're expecting Watson to be out at least 6 games, if not more. Man, let that dude play.
He needs to play.
Let him play. Let him play a half. What?
Sure. What's it going to hurt?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's the problem? Let him get out and play. This is all depending on whether there's a decision before then, obviously.
True.
If they come out with an indefinite suspension, he can't play. But if we're still waiting or it doesn't get extended